All right, class, we are back for the last day of our social studies lessons for the week, and we are going to start talking about Andrew Jackson and how he became a hero. So Andrew Jackson rebuilt the old French fort, Fort Toulouse, and named it Fort Jackson. He then waited for the tribal chiefs to come and surrender. Remember, surrender means to give up. When the chiefs came, they had to sign a treaty. The treaty was called the Treaty of Fort Jackson because that's where the treaty was signed. In this treaty, the Creeks had to give up a great deal of their land to the United States. But to them, it was worth it because that meant that the war was over and they would not have to lose any more of their men. Andrew Jackson became a national hero. Okay, there's Andrew Jackson. He's on the $20 bill. He's one of our presidents. One mighty chief, Chief Red Eagle, remember he was responsible for the massacre at Fort Mims that we talked about yesterday, came to surrender, and Jackson let him live at his country place so that he would be safe. He then let him leave and come back to Alabama. Jackson and his soldiers then left and headed for New Orleans. By Christmas of that same year, Jackson and his soldiers had defeated the Creeks and chased the British into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, not literally into the Gulf of Mexico. They weren't all jumping in and swimming, but they were back on their ships and they were starting to retreat back into the Gulf. He then won the most famous battle of the War of 1812, which was the Battle of New Orleans. All right, so Tecumseh, we talked about him on Monday. He is hanging around. Tecumseh ignored the treaties that were signed to end the War of the Creek. Is that shocking anybody? It doesn't surprise me. He was so against the settlers, it makes sense that he would not give up so easily, even though he signed a treaty. He joined the British to fight the Americans. So he was so against these white settlers that he joined the British, being an Indian chief, to get back at the settlers. He commanded a large army of England's American Indian allies, but the War of 1812 was not good for Tecumseh. The fierce chief was killed in battle while leading his forces into Canada. All right, and that is going to wrap it up for us this week for week 6 of Alabama history, talking about the Creek Indian War, Andrew Jackson, the massacre at Fort Mims. Please make sure that you are double checking your folders daily for those assignments. I feel like lately a lot of us have been forgetting social studies and science assignments, so please make sure you are completing those as well. And if you need the information in any of these videos, remember you can always come back and play them again. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your week. I will see you right back here on your screen next week.